my face.
Gotta love the throwback music. Oh, that's fabulous. That's gonna make me so happy.
Oh,
excellent. Cool. That's good because I've never actually played Zero Mission, so I'm just gonna be going on my knowledge of the other games here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of digging this this version with the voices. No, it's not. Hmm. Okay.
Okay.
This is the Oasis, a whole virtual universe. A contest.
Okay. It's kind of a Halo feel to it.
Yeah, a little bit.
This one. Yeah, you can kind of feel it.
Is this one also based on the Beatles?
We're gonna hear that modem again, right? Okay. I have a theory that I'll wait until we get to another one. So, this is Brinstar, right? This theme. So, I always loved. Oh yeah, absolutely. I always loved how just like straight up heroic this one was. You know, it's got. Oh yeah, this is super cool. It has sort of like an adventure game feel. That they definitely stripped down quite a bit in Super Metroid to go more for the creepy. But I've always appreciated the original Brinstar theme here. And it's interesting to get this kind of choral vocal effect on this.
Yeah.
It really adds a different vibe. I love the little counter melody in this section. Yeah. I'm also just digging how colorful it is. You know, so many games, especially lately, you know, it feels like they've just had this really like dour, dark color scheme. At the Friday night dinners, you know, we keep doing like the Bloodborne type games, so maybe that's why that's in my head. But it is nice to see a game that is so colorful.
And it's these particular colors too, though. It's really it's that shade of pink.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a particular. It puts it in a particular era, I feel.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. It feels very, very much like a.
Because even if you look at like the original Castlevanias, especially the first one, that palette was so intense for being like a gothic horror styled game.
Yeah.
When they could have easily just stuck to a lot of black and brown, and you know, there's so much contrast and bright blue and orange in that color palette. That's such an NES thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you sort of need it when you don't have a ton of colors available to you to make things stand out. But yeah, I'm also enjoying these backdrops that add so much dimension. The classic silence. Mm-hmm. Well, that sound though is also what plays when you first land on the planet in Super Metroid. That sort of choral drone. Sweet. This is so cool. Oh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Ryan referred to the burble. That's a Will Gibbonsism. We've been calling him Dr. Burbles ever since. Because he described it as a like indistinct technological burbling, I think. Hey Ryan, chat says they're not hearing you.
Oh, yep. Okay, well I fixed it now. I wasn't saying anything super important anyway. I'm good now, though. Anyway, this is the original Brinstar music we have to work with. And then I'll load the save state and get us back into position in a moment. But this is your standard 3-channel, bass, harmony, and melody.
Yeah, it should be noted that even for the triangle, bass being lower, that's a particularly low range.
This is a very low range for all of the NES channels, I think.
Yeah.
It always made it sound different than other science fiction games on the system to me. Anyway, back to the modern edition. By the way, flipping back and forth that quickly is really awesome, and we should do it more often.
I love it.
Part of the reason why it's possible is that the Game Boy Advance cartridge, once you finish this edition, you unlock an emulated version of the full NES game.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm really digging how that combines the two. Landing on the planet and Metroid Prime. It's really looking backwards and forwards, plus the original silencing, which I think is one of the greatest ones from the original game.
Yeah, there are a lot of people...
Almost 12-tone.
A lot of people who think this is the best remake ever made, by the way. And I have a hard time coming up with something that's not just as good. This room is not a normal save room sound, by the way. What you expect from like an item room or a save room. This is, again, a Metroid Prime room. And it's because map rooms were not in Metroid 1.
Yeah, they were only in...
So they felt free to add more of the Metroid Prime ambience. Here, we'll get the map, just for fun. P.S. There is a map. In the original NES game, it's like graph paper time. Alright, back to Brinstar for a little bit, and then we'll load the Norfair save state and talk about that theme.
Yeah, it's amazing how much more epic having the chorus, where before it was more, NES timbres, like stringy, question mark.
Yeah. I should mention, for people who are new to the Metroid franchise, that normally there would be a lot of figuring out what to do that forms a big component of the core gameplay. For the sake of time, have memorized, for this particular game, every single jump I have to do I can tell you in order now. Like, I've been seriously practicing this run.
That's cool.
It's amazing.
It's because I want to get through it in 2 hours.
Yeah.
That boss we killed earlier dropped the charge beam, I just didn't wait for it to die. New boss, new item to Metroid 1.
What was that little trill there at the end of that? Did you hear that little flourish?
I did not, but I'll pay more attention next time.
Maybe I'm imagining things. We'll have to let it play.
That sound is going to come up multiple more times, so no worries.
Right. It sounded like it had a little extra baroquishness.
Okay. Alright, down to Norfair we go.
Keep an eye out for that, and we will keep an eye out for the Chozo again.
That's right. This cutscene imagery is from the manga, by the way.
It looks like it. Oh, this would have creeped me the F out as a kid. The idea of like, oh my god, something's watching me.
Alright, we're going to listen to this for a moment. Actually, I'm going to move. We can listen while I run through this area. And I'll flip back to the NES when I get to the end of the hallway. Alright. Save the state there. We'll load this one. Here we go. Same area on the NES, as you can see. I'm not going to walk here, we're just going to listen. Again, very low.
there's a sparseness to this one that I love that is also pretty unique in NES part writing, you know?
Yeah.
We're usually so densely packed. This one gives a lot of space. This one is definitely a lot more filled in.
They fill it out for the Game Boy Advance. And again, they fill it out using choral elements borrowed from both Ridley's theme from Super Metroid and Metroid Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, up we
and
go.
I'm enjoying how that little ostinato gets switched over to kind of a guitar, plucked
Now,
guitar.
Dana, note we're in Criteria now from Super Metroid.
Yeah, we are.
This track has no counterpart in Metroid 1 because this is a Super Metroid only area. And the Super Metroid version that we will be hearing next week is also ambience, but a different one, and I don't have Super Metroid queued up. This Ruins theme is right out of Metroid Prime with that groaning choral structure.
Yeah.
This is a very GameCube sound. We'll return to that in a moment. We have an item to get here. And a new item theme. I want Dana especially to pay attention to this one.
Okay. Ah, that warms my heart how dissonant that was.
Yeah, item incompatible. Can't use it. The reason you can't use it is because it is not in Metroid 1. Solve that mystery later. For now.
I'm digging this. It's so low. Like, it's like Tibetan throat singing. Like, that type of resonance.
Yeah, it's super low. Here.
Games are just so infinitely creepy.
Alright, we have a new normal item theme, Dana, so listen for your ugly trill.
Yeah. Yeah, do you hear it?
It's in there, yep. Not a fan.
What are we doing?
So this item is the concession to modern gameplay. Look what it does. You can cheat now.
Power grip. Does this, like, eliminate wall jumping issues?
No.
Oh my god.
You still have wall jumping. I'm doing that manually. I'm not being assisted in any way.
Okay. So what does power grip help you do exactly?
Watch this jump.
What?
Now, Dana, do you know Super Metroid well?
Very well.
You will love this next scene. Watch this moment. Look at the graphics.
Yep, I know right where we are.
Exactly
ship?
where you are. This particular area, pixel for pixel, is the area from Super Metroid, as you can tell by that jump.
I love that her ship is just her head.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I want, like, a giant Ryan head freaking everybody out, driving me around.
Only if you had really distinctive armor, though. Like, it can't just be your base.
Right. Anyway, that's the end of our trip into Super Metroid. We'll be visiting a lot more of that area next week.
I'm super intrigued by just how choral all of this is.
Yeah, me too.
Getting this missile tank was possible before with bomb jumping, but it's a joke now, so I left it.
And it's such a, a distorted choir. Like, some of those bass notes seem so low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, kind of digitally assisted.
I think this track also does a good job, the Norfair track.
You know what it kind of reminds me of is, like, the old Emperor Palpatine, like, that low kind of choral thing that happens in Star Wars. Let me pull it up.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that trill kills me.
Sorry.
And I don't know if I don't think
Super
it's a good
Metroid
way.
veterans will notice the color of that door and know what's coming, by the way. Oh, here's another statue, Dana. Are you ready for the prime motive?
Yeah, I am.
Here we go.
Okay, so this is in a different key, but give this a listen, y'all. Sounds a little bit like Poor Not Assessed.
Yeah,
It does.
Doesn't it?
it does though. It's exactly what I'm saying.
We're not obsessed. I had to think of what it was.
Yeah, no, I'm sitting here being like, there are parts of this that sound so much like some of the things I wrote about for my chant articles.
Yeah.
Like just the vocality of it, but it doesn't fit neatly into the idea that this is like a temple or well, I don't know. It needs a little thought. I'm not as
Yeah. It's doing different work, right?
Yeah.
It is, but not necessarily for like the cross purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the
It always
supernatural.
comes around the Chozo statues, which is as close to a religious subject as we get in this game, right?
Yeah. So I was like, I think I need to think more about it because I don't know this game as well. But what work is it doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's very organoomy, like like the parallel open
Yes.
worlds and the just the timbre of it.
Also, like, first of all, organum is a great word. Second of all, it almost sounds like you're combining organum and noom, like organoomy,
Organoomy.
which I'm here for that.
I'm so here for that. That is a fine technical term.
It's better than burbles.
Nice.
I don't know that I get to be Dr. Organoomy. It doesn't.
Yeah, no, I'm not feeling that, Karen. I'm sorry.
Doesn't sound quite right.
No, I'm gonna take a hard pass on that.
We are going to get one item early right now, by the way, for the sake of me not dying in Kraid's lair, which is where we're supposed to be going next. But it's also convenient to go there now. It saves a little bit of time. So we're gonna go up in here.
I love that counter melody so much. It's just such an iconic theme, although I think it gets less and less like the sound design of the rest of the game. As we go on, we don't have as many themes like this. We tend to go for those more atmospheric, creepy tracks. So, but by this game, it feels like an outlier. In the NES, I don't think it felt so different from the rest of the sound design.
Right.
I've always sucked at bomb jumping so hard.
Well,
I'm impressed.
oops, hold on. Quick menu, save.
I'm actually really crappy at most of the techniques. The wall jumping. And
Look at that bomb jump.
Yeah, diagonal bomb jumping. Kudos.
So we're supposed to have the high jump boots to get up here, obviously, but I didn't want to go to Norfair 3 times, so we're doing this now.
I like these little parasites.
This item is in the same spot, but this run to get it is much harder. I don't know if you remember what's here. Oh, I missed.
Oh.
Okay, well, that's not the end of the world.
Oh, damn. That's kind of rough.
Yeah, it stunk. There we go. 100% okay with taking 2 attempts. I still feel pretty good about that.
so cutesy.
You'll notice the Varia suit, by the way, does not give us the spiked shoulder pads the way it does in Metroid 2.
Why the hell not?
Because that wasn't introduced in Metroid 1.
Ugh.
The spiked shoulder pads were introduced in Metroid 2. So we got them last week, but not this week. Also, Danny, assuming you were complimenting my bomb jumping, thank you.
Maybe just your face.
I actually need to sit up straight so you can all see my face. Instead of just like the lower
I'm making sure
part of
that like
chin.
my whole Metroid shirt is in the shot here because I'm really proud of it.
It is a pretty badass shirt. I've got my Maryland Gamer Symphony Orchestra shirt on, but you can't see it on the stream.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
I have my medieval shot.
Oh, come on. No. Need to go up here. Alright.
Yeah, one of the reasons I went with this, I was looking at a bunch of different Metroid shirts, but one of the reasons I picked this one is the logo's right up top,
Yeah.
and I liked that it had the ship, and it was more colorful. A lot of the other shirts weren't quite so colorful. So
Nope, I dig it.
yeah, Karen actually helped me pick it. I sent options.
Well, yeah, because that's how we got into this Redbubble mess in the first place.
It's true.
Nice.
All your fault.
By the way, though I have not stopped to do it, item Chozos now, if you visit them again, will refill your health and your missiles.
Aw, that's so nice of them.
It's a nice little concession to the idea that this is actually... It's easier than the NES game, but Metroid is not for first-time gamers. Like, this is a hard franchise.
Yeah. I sort of wonder sometimes about going back and playing games I didn't play when I was little and finding them almost impossible, some of these old NES games, versus the ones that I just had enough practice on that, like, I know that they're hard, but I know them well enough.
Yep.
Oh, I'm gonna refill. By the way, you might have caught a glimpse of a super missile tank. I can't get that yet. And I'm not technically supposed to have it. Super missiles don't exist in Metroid 1. And that's really out of the way. You kind of have to know it's there. This energy tank, though, does exist, and the only way to get it is to bomb jump in Metroid 1, or to have the high jump and raise your gun as you're jumping, and you'll just barely touch it.
Intense.
Alright, new track again. I'm actually going to have us listen to the NES first. I love this track on the NES.
It gets this resonance that I just love.
Yeah, everything about it is good.
Like it feels like screwy Baroque a little bit. Some of the gestures.
It feels very improvisatory in the melody. Alright, and that's the loop. Here's what it sounds like in the Game Boy Advance remaster.
And it's a little off because it's that bum 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 bum, that kind of launching bass line.
It's worth pointing out, again, it's more choral here. I feel like they use the chorus voice to really tie the soundtrack together in a way that Planet Zebes was not as cohesive in the NES release. And I'm not saying that's better or worse, it is more cohesive here.
So cool. Look at those little funny eyeball guys. I love them. Oh, I always hate those things that jump out of the
pipes?
The pipes at you. They're obnoxious in every game. So cool. It's like a mother cat, like picking up one of its kittens by kind of grabbing the back of its neck.
Yep, and here's the room that really teaches you to use the device by adding a new boss to Kraid's Lair.
Nice. So cool.
Other than for raw time, this is why I get the Various suit. This acid will damage you if you don't have it.
Right.
New boss music is very cool as well, by the way, but I'm busy playing and I can't process it.
Cool. It worked pretty seamlessly with the creator and music here too. Like, as soon as the one ended, it just felt like a really good transition.
Yeah, it's very smooth. Alright, we're about halfway through Kraid's Lair now. These nice little shooty things make it take not long. The original game doesn't have those, by the way. This dungeon takes forever in the original game. Though, you don't have to come to this corner either, because there's no, like, machine to activate, so you win some, you lose some, I guess.
This is a good change of pace from what I've been listening to. Joe's been playing Majora's Mask. And
ooh, I love Majora's Mask.
The music is like driving me up a wall.
Oh really? I think it's good.
Oh my god, it's so effing repetitive.
Welcome to the game. That's not the music's fault.
It's particularly the dungeon themes are so short of a loop.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of just, it's more like sound design to me than music, which isn't a bad thing necessarily, but I find it very grating and there's not enough variety. Like the Woodland Temple, there was like the weird, like kind of operatic crossed with tribal topos going on.
Oh, here, check it out, our second unknown.
What was that, diminished chord right there?
You lose.
But it's rising. It's not the rising gesture at least.
I do want to point out earlier, it happened in a split second because I didn't pause to talk about it because it's a gameplay thing, but I have always thought in both the original and this remake that having to figure out that one acid pit is a fake acid pit is total bullshit.
I mean, acid's probably expensive, and you know, I'm sure that Mother Brain is always telling them to try and like cut their expenses in different departments.
You fight, by the way, not Metroid 1 Kraid, but like Super Metroid Kraid.
He's definitely Super Metroid Kraid. So good.
Super Metroid Kraid is actually a way better boss. This is totally an acceptable change. Also, you can still kill him very quickly.
Yeah. Oh, hi there. Kraid is so rude, throwing his like claws at you all the time.
This is the boss defeated track, but to retransition you back into Kraid's room, by the way. And as Dana mentioned earlier, it works really well to do that. Fun item not in Metroid 1. but it's since become an iconic move for the franchise. Oh, Dana, you played Metroid 1. Remember this climb? Check this out.
Oh, man.
The first time I played this, that was the most cathartic thing imaginable.
Yeah, it's an obnoxious climb. I like how you're just leaving a trail of bombs as you get carried by that thing.
Right, one pit stop here in this room, and then I'm out. Because that climb normally took me like 10 minutes playing the NES game, and now I'm done.
I don't know if we're gonna call this in 3 or in 6, but either way, that's another thing that you don't find too often in game themes.
Right.
And when we do find it, we tend to find it in sort of more of a straight up waltzy bass line with the pa.
Right, whereas that's like a creepy 3, which is very, very rare for NES.
Yeah. Not that you never see that type of bass line in like, some Strauss waltzes, but...
Yeah. Bonus manga cutscene again, by the way. Ridley's now on the planet.
Oh, dang.
And because of that, we have to go kill him. Let's go do that.
Let's go get rid of him.
Oh, wait. I forgot. Some random trivia.
Walking right over my butt.
There's an advice statue over here. We're not going to go look at it because I don't need to know where to go. But that's what's in this room. In the NES game, if you use a Game Genie code that allows you to walk through this exact wall, there are 17 unused rooms on the other side. Because the game, it triggers some sort of weird memory problem with the game. And so you load, like, rooms out of order, but it's a cohesive area that you can explore and come back from so long as you can walk through that wall.
That's killer. I never knew that. We had a Game Genie and we exploited it, my brother and I, quite a bit, but I didn't know that particular one.
Oh, I have the long beam now. I skipped it on my first pass through this area because it saves like 30 seconds to do it, and I wasn't really firing beams earlier. There's no good reason to skip it if you're just playing the game, though. Anyway, we're going to have some repeated music. Our second trip to Norfair is not going to be eventful for a little bit, so bear with me.
Okay, Bryn Star's giving me a very, good feeling there.
This is a really good arrangement of that track.
Oh, while we're here...
Yeah?
Emperor Palpatine. Totally in the low.
For sure, it's Emperor Palpatine.
Yeah.
Hold on, did I do it? Yes.
Well, I half expect him to just be there with his, white bony fingers, just, pulsating you. What? Did you just say that's treason? Oh my god.
They say you want to leave, but I don't. The Senate.
Oh my god. Can you not make prequel memes? Ever?
Alright, so here's where we were supposed to come, and then go back up to Brinstar to get the Various suit after Kraid, and then go back down here to visit the area behind the statue. That's a huge waste of time, so we just got the suit early. But you do need the Various suit to progress here unless you want to, burn alive. It's possible, but annoying. There were no Varia required rooms in the original game, I feel compelled to point out. So it was a completely optional item.
certainly makes life a lot easier, though.
It does. Ah, come on. Alright, still good enough. They added a speed booster barrier there to make your life harder. Unlike all of the other Metroid games, I pointed this out last week when we did AM2R. In Metroid 1, the screw attack is just sitting here. They do make it harder to get in this remake. You have to know exactly the right block to get it Metroid 1 style, otherwise it's given to you automatically after Ridley via a really neat speed booster warp that we're not going to see because it takes a long time and I'm getting it now. But it's way more powerful than any weapon is ever going to be. It turns Samus into like this wrecking ball machine of instant death. And I'm convinced that they did not realize how powerful it was when they put it at this location in Metroid 1.
So you're saying that she's this kind of wrecking ball? I say,
don't.
as I post
Oh, you
Miley
didn't.
Cyrus.
No.
It's considerably more clothed.
Yeah.
Yes. Unless you get the bikini at the end, right? And you're like, oh my god!
That tradition continues in this game, though it's not anywhere near as egregious as it was in Metroid 1 on NES, where it's this, like, awkwardly skimpy bikini.
Yeah.
Also, it's really, really hard to unlock that in Metroid 1. It was mostly an urban legend among most players, because you've got to be, like, a professional to actually get the full unlock in Metroid 1.
Yeah, it was more like, oh my god, took her helmet off.
Yeah. All these items are in approximately the same location in Metroid 1, they're just easier to get to.
If this were a drinking game, I'd be like, drink every time there's that terrible trill, because it's happening a lot.
The nice part about Zero Mission, one of the really good improvements, is in Metroid 1 you can't combine beams. You choose either ice or wave beam only. And here we get the series tradition of letting you combine them all, so I have this cool ice wave beam thing going on now. And actually, you need to find Wave Beam to get through this next section because of this spot. It'll clear 2 blocks at once right there. So you can do that. New weird piece of music for a new weird boss here. And this is actually based on Spore Spawn's theme from Super Metroid.
Yes. Do we have that?
I don't have it queued up. You're going to have to wait till next week.
Okay. So good.
Oh no, he takes 4 shots. I messed up. Now we have to push him back slowly. Okay, you're done. There we go. Get out of here.
Yeah, it's very close, because I think the other one is...
Yeah.
I've been singing a lot lately, in chamber coachings in particular. My kids never want to sing, but that's like such a string player thing. Like, oh, well, I would be in choir if I could sing. I'm like, I'm just trying to tell if you're audiating the pitch properly, y'all. I don't care. You know, then they do sing it, and like, oh, hey, you sang it flat too. Maybe that's why you're playing it flat.
I remember being told that I couldn't ever, like, volunteer for anything in oral theory, though. Because I'm a voice major who took Suzuki piano lessons going up. Like, I was born for oral theory class.
Yeah, you were. Piano helped a lot. I mean, I was no singer, but certainly piano skills made all of the folk song harmonizations easier and...
Right. This boss feels like Spore Spawn, by the way, and has the same music going on.
Yeah, it does.
That 8-way shot is a very Spore Spawn thing. I missed it last time. This is a new, unique ambience for the rooms before the boss chambers.
Alright, let it play a sec.
Yep. I also want to point out that Ridley's boss, as the second boss, having 2 heads, is from the NES game. That is a thing. Alright, and that's the loop. Down into Ridley's lair we go.
Kind of reminds me of Darth Vader breathing.
Hey, since Jarrell just got online and I know he knows this game, Dana doesn't know the twist, so don't chat about it yet.
Of this game?
We get a cool manga cutscene here. Ridley's flying out, and we must get him. Alright, save time. And now we load, I think, 6?
Oh snap.
Yep, here's Ridley's. I always felt compelled to move in this one.
Okay, 2 things. Do you hear the Star Tropics in this, having just done Star Tropics 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
The jump sound and the timbre of the instruments.
Yes,
sounds
the dun 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 dun.
Now, I'm specifically thinking of the when you're in the dangerous area.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It's got to be the same channel or timbre. But the jump sound sounds like it might be exactly the same.
It is exactly the same.
Oh, cool.
Very cool.
I bet they borrowed it.
Alright.
Which is a neat thing to, that sound effect borrowing we noticed.
Right. Now you notice I can't progress. I need a new item. Can't open green doors yet.
Yep.
Oh, there's a thing though. Now that we've seen the thing, we can go back up. I'm aware, people who watch this to see me pseudo speedrun games, that I don't have to go back up right now if I really know what I'm doing, but we're gonna go back up anyway. I don't like games that make you get frustrated and backtrack, but that shell has now fallen down here and making a tunnel.
So we went from Darth Vader in that little elevator room to Palpatine here. I'm just gonna make all the Star Wars connections.
And now we have a boss. And this boss feels like the Dragon battle from Super Metroid. Both in terms of tempo and in terms of music. And no, I do not have that queued up, sadly. Alright.
It's even kind of built on the da-da-da-da-da-da from the small boss theme. It's in there. In the upper voice.
Alright, we've got supers now. The big guns. Catch, we're not actually going to go through this door. Huge waste of time. Though that is what this remake expects you to do.
Yeah, I'm the opposite of a speedrunner. Like the slow food movement, that's me in gaming. I'm a slow gamer.
Yeah.
We're going to go up here instead.
Which is why I was so livid at Breath of the Wild and, have not touched it since I had my Lionel freak out. Because
what about the Lionel
cool.
upset you?
Oh, they all turn silver, and you never get it. If you've been kind of doing other things and avoiding fighting them, you never get to fight all of the different types. So that's awesome. Not to mention completing my Hyrule Compendium, getting all the different items I need. It's made everything.
There's at least one Lionel for you can finish your compendium that won't turn, I think, and it's the one on top of
the red one. I've already fought
Mountain.
the red one, but I haven't fought all the other colors. That was my plan. Was I started fighting the red one, and then I was gonna go do all the other ones, and they had all turned. But
see, I never noticed there were other colors then.
Yeah, and I'm pissed because I'm a completionist, and now I can't complete the game. Everyone's like, "Oh, well, you can just buy the remaining pictures, right, for the compendium." I'm like, that is not how I do things. and it's all fine if the game had told me that they turn, They do so many other things beautifully. But that was one moment where I was just super pissed that, like, I had no way of planning for it. And the way the saves work, there was no way for me to go back to an early enough save.
Right.
And I'm not going to start over because I've sunk so, like, probably 200 hours into the game. like, just, like,
Yeah,
around doing...
I've given the game an impossible amount of my life. And Owen's life, for that matter.
So I'm, like, deeply wounded by Breath of the Wild. And I'm not okay yet, so I've moved on to Super Mario Odyssey.
Nice. I was going to get a Switch, but now that I got the new computer, I have to wait until I get a paycheck, it turns out.
Oh, yeah. Sorry for those that already saw my rant about this on Twitter. But yeah, I'm moving on to Super Mario Odyssey, and I'm, like, just so charmed by it. I'm, like, collecting moons everywhere, and just, like, I love it. You know, I played a little bit when it first came out, but now I'm actually playing through it and finding everything, and I love the hat, and I love all the ways they use that mechanic.
I didn't want to farm missiles here, by the way, but I have a feeling that I'm a little bit under missiles to do this without running out. So we're gonna just...
You're not gonna missile your chance to get some...
That's right. Let me hit 36, and then we'll call that good. Okay. So, item number 3 and the last one. In addition, that energy tank is hidden away in the room behind Ridley in both, I'm gonna save in case I die to Ridley. In both Metroid 1 and Super Metroid, but there they just give it to you, because the Chozo statue is there instead. Alright. If done correctly, this is by far the easiest version of Ridley.
Well, he's literally impossible at the beginning of Super Metroid, so...
Yeah, I'm gonna run out of missiles though.
Actually, can you beat Ridley? I don't remember.
No, you
might
cannot.
be able to. I mean, you're scripted to lose it, but is there any way to beat him?
If you hit him like 100 times, then he'll fly away. But you can't win the fight. He'll just fly back and still mode 7 kill the station.
Right, but you can...
Yeah, if you hit Ridley at the beginning of Super Metroid 100 times, it's not quite 100, it's some weird arbitrary number.
Screams are too intense.
Yeah, sorry about
that. Sound design. You're apologizing for the game's excellent sound design.
That's right. It is a little piercing.
It is very piercing. It's got like a nice kind of Jurassic Park-y intensity to it. I also love that we blazed through it, but the Ridley theme is in 10-8, divided 3-3-2-2. I love that.
Oh yes, and I forgot to note, but thank you for pointing it out. While you're fighting him, you do get the Ridley theme, which was not in this game originally, but it's a smart inclusion from Super Metroid.
Yeah.
Come on.
So, what little work I've done on Metroid, my silence paper, I talk about the way, basically the first like 15-20 minutes of gameplay, just all in a sequence from the moment you turn it on to getting onto the planet, essentially, and how the game is very carefully managing its soundscape and implying silences and dropping sound entirely at moments to kind of make you have this like, oh my god, what is happening? And it really underscores the thing that really freaked me out. It was also like, why did this game scare me so much as a kid? Super Metroid, that is.
Okay.
And the reason is she's like all alone, and the whole planet is full of crap that wants to kill her. And like that was just like, I thought she was awesome, but I was also like really freaked out at that idea. I'm like, she is so alone on this planet. And the game soundscape is really a big part of what gave it that feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And so in that way, we pointed it out when we went over to the NES thread there that, when I remarked that there are moments where the soundscape isn't that normal NES dense texture, and how weird that is to have something that leaves a little bit of space.
Yeah.
Alright, I think this is the one, and it is. So now we are almost done with the game. We just have to go to Torian, the last area here, fight Mother Brain. And I do have Torian queued up, though there's not much to it, I don't think, in the NES version.
What really strikes me about this, and particularly this version of this, is that it doesn't feel like level music. It feels like it should be non-diegetic, like title screen or end credits. Like it doesn't feel like it's really fitting the gameplay of the area.
It's interesting.
By the way, that ridiculous double super jump is how you get that super missile tank that we passed by earlier. Now have
But
8
say-
for the boss.
Change the timbre a little bit and put this in like a Zelda game and I wouldn't question it. It's particularly just that the rest of the game does such interesting, creepy things.
Yeah,
I
that
agree.
makes total sense. Yeah.
And you have to imagine there's a certain percentage of the player base that only hears the cute adventuring theme, right? Thank God these statues fill up all your weapons and missiles, by the way.
I love how you have to like curl yourself up into a little ball and let it cradle you. kind of a neat way. You don't just have to like touch it, you know?
Yeah. And here's the room we've seen from a couple other perspectives a few times. Now that I've beaten both bosses, it'll open up. Down we go.
So I pointed out. Ooh. Nice callback.
Right, this is the opening music of the Super Metroid game. This is the title screen. It's a very cool musical moment for those people who have played the entire franchise.
You really get a sense of their like murderous flesh-eating.
Yep.
If any part of you like when I actually Super Metroid was my first Metroid, and then I went back and played the earlier ones.
Okay.
So initially I was like, "Oh, baby Metroid, like they're cute."
I want to point out that in both Zero Mission and this game, if one of those things touches you, it is serious business time. Like, you don't want that to happen. They are very, very hard to get off of you.
Shall we note the obvious? That
The
we are
burble?
quoting. Not the burble. Well, yes, the burble. The burble's there. No, the quotation of the Mario Castle music.
Oh, yes.
They altered a little bit, but it's definitely a quotation.
For sure. That makes sense, too.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is the most castle-y of the areas that we are involved with.
Right.
But yeah, the burble's awesome.
There's a... We'll hear it in just a moment now that I pass this save room. There's a, more technology here than in the NES game.
We still get the, like...
You still get it, but it's harder to hear. It's, like, farther back in the mix.
It's not low, and it's not a burble, and it doesn't sound... It actually sounds, like, tonal instead of percussive.
Right. I'm not actually a huge fan of this arrangement for Zero Mission, because I feel like the emphasis is on the biological in the NES game, and here
Yeah.
the emphasis is on the technological. I know that's, like, me being very picky.
Yeah. Well, and I think that, as I'm referring to a paper Will gave at AMS. It was like a lunchtime session a couple of years ago now on Metroid, and he talked about how the loops don't quite line up for that burble, and so it has kind of it has a randomness that has to do with it being something like 1 or 2 frames offset from the other loop. That makes if we're going to say the technological and the organic, it shows you those 2 different realms and how they're not quite aligned. In a sense, that's just wonderful. I'm misquoting a little bit, you know. See Will Gibbons' work on the topic.
Yeah, that paper was really good, actually.
Yeah.
He did end up publishing the Metroid one, if I recall.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, that other alternative room, which doesn't exist in Metroid 1, up there is a save station. But we're not going to save.
He has a habit of sending me stuff, and then I forget that it's not out yet. I'm pretty good at the game. The other thing I remember, I specifically made a comment, the bum 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 bum, which is hard to sing. The creepy theme, you know, called Silence. But you can hear something that comes back down here, kind of foreshadowing that. And then, you know, it's got this strangeness to it where it's like almost 12 tone, but not actually. But it has a randomness that kind of evokes that. And I remember also saying that it kind of reminded me of like the Westminster chimes, the bum bum bum.
Yeah.
It's like a slightly atonal up version of that, but the gesture and the contour feel similar.
All right. In theory, I have enough missiles to do this.
Oh, I'm enjoying this already.
That theme is actually straight up borrowed. Here you go on the NES. And
so
back.
Technically, that could all be trolls.
Right. Back to... Oops, I don't want to fast forward my death in the lava. That's bad.
But here, that oscillation doesn't sound cutesy the way it does added to the item theme.
Right.
Yeah. Oh my god, her eye.
Alright.
It's such a simple...
And here's the end. Oh, come on. Up the wall. You couldn't wall jump in the original game, which makes it like actual gameplay.
Don't you just love how this is like the Brinstar theme literally coming apart at the seams?
I love it, yeah. It's a really great idea. And it's that idea on the NES as well.
Yeah.
I will note the NES game ends at that elevator. They don't make you run back up to the ship because this area didn't exist until Super Metroid. But it's really smart and intuitive that they make you go back to the ship here. Alright. Oh, catch, we're not done yet. The NES game ended at that point, but now we have to tie it to Prime, and as an added bonus, there's no wrecked spaceship on the planet yet, and there is one in Super Metroid, so now we have to figure out how that happened.
I like the mixture of animation styles right there.
This track right here is the Talon Overworld introduction of Metroid Prime. As a cue that, like, now it's a whole new game.
That's cool.
All right, so onward.
So what's the explanation for how she lost her suit?
She turns the suit off. It's a mechanical thing at this point in her lifetime. It's not attached to her the way it is in Fusion.
Okay.
And then the ship gets shot down while she doesn't have it.
I see.
This track, with ridiculous drums like noir style, only exists for this room to cue you in that you're now playing a stealth action game. You can't kill any of those things. And now the track is gone.
Really great.
So cool.
And now you have a whole brand new 6th zone to explore.
Chozodia. Alright.
And the one criticism people have of this is that this is not an easy stealth action sequence that we're about to do. He's gonna see me right away. There's no way around it. And now we're gonna move our butts.
Music! Yes. So in this case, that's not added vocality because that was in the Super Metroid track.
I like that while you're exploring the ship now, you get this quieter take on the riff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did you see that jump to avoid that tripwire? I only make that like 1 in 5. Oh, it doesn't matter though.
It's like almost a DA theory quotation.
Yeah.
Almost.
It feels like that when you're running your butt off from all these people.
Yeah.
Alright, back through the door. We're good again for a while. There's your way out, by the way. Do you see the ship up there? In my practice runs, I skipped this save room, but live, that is not a good idea. We're going to save at every single one of these things. Just gotta wait a minute for this door to clear. There we go. The search beams do what you think they do. So we're just gonna knock.
First time playing it though, I would be like, what are those? I would assume they were enemies, but I wouldn't necessarily know they were search beams.
And if you get caught, this door seals off and you're stuck in the room with them. It's not a good time to get caught.
This is very exciting.
One more save room to go, and then we're done with the stealth sequence, by the way. We are approaching the end of it. If you're a killer wall jumper, this room is very easy. If you're not, it sucks.
You did a nice job through it, though.
I feel like that guy in particular is really cheap. Like, I hate that you find out that way.
Oh my god, so many pirates. I like how they have ruins aboard their spaceship.
We're no longer on the spaceship.
Oh, okay.
We shifted. These ruins connect to the rest of... Let me pause my map here. If you would jump out. See, I'm connected to Criteria at this point, to the east of Super Metroid.
Yeah.
And these connect just like they do in the original game, where there are ruins to the left of the wrecked ship.
Right.
Right, that's where we're at.
Okay. That seems a little excessive to, like, transport your ruins with you
Yeah.
on your spaceship.
Okay, this is the last save point. If I can pull this off, and we will see, hopefully I don't have to reload, then we'll be to the end. Oh, up. Okay. Alright, we're through.
Nice.
Oh. Hold on. I can wait here. Okay.
Well done.
Thank you.
I like the quasi-Egyptian-ness of the wall paintings.
Some of that is borrowed from Metroid Prime's aesthetic,
Yeah.
I should point out.
Yeah, it's got kind of all the figures in profile, and like the seated ones in particular. That looks very Egyptian dress, and they've even got little pyramids. I've been doing a lot with Egypt lately, so. For my forthcoming chapter in the RPG book.
Yeah, right?
Stay tuned.
Nice.
Everywhere I look these days, Dana, I'm finding these Egypt references where I'm like, oh, I wonder if you looked at that, or I wonder if you looked at that. But they're all in TV shows, so I don't know how helpful that is, but it's just
Right.
it keeps coming up.
Yeah, I finally found kind of the right sources. You know, I had mentioned the exoticism literature wasn't giving me what I needed, but
This
I
is a
also
hidden
couldn't.
save room, right? Yeah, we'll use
Ooh,
it.
nice. I couldn't do this chapter without. I can't pretend that Ralph Lack and Jonathan Bellman and Saeed. I have to at least acknowledge that I've read that.
From the chat, the explanation for the Egyptian mythology is that the Chozo are an ancient civilization, and so the game designers borrowed from the most convenient ancient civilization possible.
Ah! Of course it's Egypt. It's always Egypt. There was actually not that helpful article I was reading about the Egyptomanias in various eras, mostly spurred by new discoveries. So the first one was Napoleon's conquest of Egypt, and particularly how he sent people. Oh, hello. She doesn't quite come all the way down there. How he sent artists and scientists in to document everything, and then that gets back, and then Champollion deciphers the whole hieroglyphs, and everyone's all excited about that. That's the first big one, but they kind of keep happening. Tut's Tomb is the other big one. We get Egyptian revival kind of crossed with Art Deco aesthetic. And one of the comments was, what is it about Egypt? Why Egypt specifically? You don't see people having these same obsessions with ancient Greece and ancient Rome in the same way, at least not to the degree. And a lot of
Right.
it comes from that sense of like they're just so ancient. Was sort of one of the basic theories that people have put forth, is
Okay.
just how incredibly old that even, you get like ancient Greek historians that are going and visiting Egypt when the pyramids are already 2,000 years old.
Right.
That's something incredible, and they just feel very timeless in a way that the other societies don't.
Well, yeah, because I think for me, the timelessness has to do with how so much of our own Western historical art and architecture was specifically designed after ancient Greek and Roman stuff, so it's more present.
Right.
But there's something very two-dimensional about ancient Egypt that is completely unlike how our own art developed in light of ancient cultures, that is very recognizable.
Mhm.
I agree.
So it's
New track, by the way.
it's automatically distinguishable in a way that ancient Greece and Rome are not.
Mhm.
And what we're about to get is again borrowed from Metroid Prime directly. This is the statue theme from earlier, the culmination of it.
I'm only ever gonna hear "Puer not to cest."
And I'm right
From
there.
now on, it's Christmas whenever I play one of these. Oh my goodness.
Right, this game at that moment makes the manga canon. This is the room in the manga she was given the suit in as a child.
She was given the suit as a child.
She grew up on this planet as an orphan.
Oh.
And she was given an infusion of Chozo blood to save her life. And so she became a warrior for them.
I see.
And
Oh my.
the Prime games do more with it. But
So she's kind of fighting her mirror right now.
right.
That's always a fun concept, like fighting Shadow Link.
Yep. You've got to shoot the little sphere right when it turns, otherwise you damage yourself.
Huh.
There, done.
Dang. I liked the organ in there too.
We get all the items from Super Metroid and Metroid 2 now.
Okay, all the unknown things that we had come across.
Yep. It's the plasma beam, the gravity suit, and the space jump. So now we
Cool.
have the entire Super Metroid kit.
Mhm.
And a brand new arrangement of the Brinstar theme to go with it. Oh, and this. No trill there.
Yay! That makes me happy.
And listen to this baller Brinstar arrangement, too.
Whoa, Timpani, hello.
Yeah, that's cool.
Sounds faster too. Maybe it's just more dense. It sounds like it's a little faster in tempo.
I don't know if it's fast or not. I am certain that it's more fully orchestrated.
Yeah, that's where I was going, is that the faster percussion underneath is different.
And that the timpani is playing the bass line. It's not just like punctuating every now and then. It's bum, 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 bum.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
so
yeah,
good. That's such excessive timpani.
One of my transcriptions for the Final Fantasy VI chapter, because I'm talking about it in terms of opera, I do call everything by their orchestral instrument names, but I have a footnote that says, you'll note that video games are unconstrained by things like number of timpani you can have.
Yeah.
Where that's just a sound effect, it's not...
We talked about that when we streamed it too, just like, oh my god, do you have like 80 timpani just like here?
Yeah. I like that the gates now, by the way, if you kill enough people, the gates will just turn off for you.
What were you saying, Karen?
I said just because you can do it does not mean you should.
The timpani thing specifically is like very common in games, though.
Yeah, and I think a lot of if it weren't such an unwieldy instrument to work with, I think a lot more composers would write it like that. You know?
I agree. I think that's a limitation of physical space, not that composers don't want giant pitched percussion.
Yeah, because it's just such an incredible sound. Timpani restrictions are
a social construct. Well done.
Somebody put that on a t-shirt.
Oh my god.
So, if you're eagle-eyed, Dana, did you notice that I fought little, like, prism-y things that are from the wrecked ship now that the power's all on?
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, to respond to Christina Mirabilis here, I'm reading those patterns as more Mesoamerican than Chinese, but I definitely see both there.
It's definitely a pastiche, though. There is no real effort made towards any sort of authenticity whatsoever.
Right, because I think, the idea is that they kind of just stole from these other cultures, but it kind of makes sense.
I feel like the pastiche is almost better than trying to claim some sort of authenticity and doing a really bad job of it.
Oh my god, walking garbage can!
I hate the walking garbage cans, and we're gonna see them next week too, and I hate them there also. I like going fast.
They're so cute though.
They are pretty cute. I don't actually know exactly what route we're going to take through Super Metroid next week. There are so many options for that particular game.
It's interesting that we've made it so much more dense, but I don't hear that same choral.
The choral stuff is gone.
Yeah. In this way, it sounds a little bit more like the original.
Yeah. I actually think this one is more faithful to Metroid 1, timpani aside.
I mean, the only thing that the timpani, I think, I pointed out when we went to it how low that triangle channel sits. That's kind of what the timpani does for us here.
Yeah. The switch in gameplay from the stealth section, by the way, is really nice. Like, you feel good about wrecking all these things.
I've never been one for Coco, so maybe that's why the trills annoy me. Not my era.
It doesn't bother me, I don't think that way. I don't know, the chorality of it, I don't know.
Because everything is written with an ear towards it being more choral than the original, the trills don't bother me. If they would have just added the trill, I would have been like, no.
That's exactly what I'm saying, exactly. It's not a trill so much as it is a weird vibrato.
Yeah.
I don't hear it that way at all.
I know.
You'll notice we do have the spike pads now, Dana.
Yeah, they look good.
Because we got all the Metroid 2 and Super Metroid gear.
Yeah, the violinist in me says that would be an extremely violent vibrato, to call it a vibrato.
I know it would be, but I do it that way.
Vibrato's not the right word, but it's not like you wouldn't write it as a trill either. It's like just a performance practice you do. Like in Handel, right?
With a little mordant, not like a full-on trill.
Yeah.
when I took performance practice in undergrad, the ornamentation was like my worst part. I was so bad at it.
Here's an added boss from Metroid Prime to close out the game.
Ooh, hello. He looks like Techno Ridley.
It is mechanized Ridley.
Ah! And this is another version of his theme. Is this the same one we heard when we fought him earlier?
No, this is a new version.
Okay, yeah, sounds...
In almost all my practice runs, I kill him with super missiles before I run out. So I'm basically not sure what to do at this point. Just blast, I guess. There he goes.
I like the mission impossibility of it all. Also in an uneven meter.
New version of this theme as well.
So cool. This one's so much doomier. And the original was so doomy.
This one brings out the melody a little more too, so like it feels more faithful to the NES game again. I do want to point out, I didn't do it for the sake of time, because it takes a long time to make the effort to backtrack. But do you recall me running through a glass tunnel to get away from these guys back before I had the suit? If you take the power bombs back there, you can take the gravity suit back onto the planet and play Metroid 1 with the gravity suit. And there's all sorts of hidden extra areas that only full-powered Samus can get to.
That is such a good note. That the bridge was added for the North American release and it is not used here in either of these remixes.
Oh, yes, yes. I had forgotten about that, actually, Jarrell. So, thank you.
See, now this is where you really hate these guys, and they're like, I am under a time limit. Move faster.
Speaking of which, I haven't looked over to the chat in a while, I just saw it. Jarrell, how does the fight change at 100%? I haven't done the full run of this game in a long time. There's an extra reward for getting only 15% of the items in this game, and that's usually what I go for when I'm doing something that's not just...
He has a ton more health and hits a ton harder, apparently.
Okay.
But the mechanics don't change.
Okay. Alright, there we go.
That's fun. What a bizarre ship design.
It's Ridley's head. Anyway, that becomes what you visit in Super Metroid now.
That's really nice of them to come up with that tie-in there. So cool.
I don't have the Metroid 1 NES credits theme on save state, sorry, but this is the same music. And if you would take out the snare drum, it's actually almost the same arrangement as well.
Yeah.
It's a shame that Kid Icarus never really developed into a fully fledged franchise the way that Metroid did.
I always felt like they played very similarly to me.
It's the same game engine that runs both of them, and the same design team.
It shows. Even just musically, like this Brinstar and like the Underground, the first theme, and Icarus kind of remind me of each other.
Yeah.
In terms of like the kind of galloping ostinato underneath and this like rash heroic theme.
Yeah.
That was such a quick run. Very nicely done.
Indeed.
It didn't... What I like about the Metroid games is you can go very fast, and you don't feel like you're pushing yourself to go fast. The game facilitates that type of play. Whereas like on our Zelda 3 run, there were times when I was ahead of our ability to do commentary.
Yeah. A few times. I was like, where are we? And I know that game so well, and I just couldn't... I was like, I don't even remember what I was going to say about the last area because we're elsewhere now.
Part of it is
That's
that game
cute.
just takes longer to get through than this one does, but you can still go pretty fast and feel like you're doing a good job in the Metroid games.
When you know them. I mean, unless you're going to...
Oh, check that out. Under an hour. I love it.
Exactly. Nicely done.
So, in the original NES game, as we've mentioned, Samus would get more nude the faster you played the game. That's not the case here. She puts on different outfits. If you've seen this model of Zero Suit Samus in the Smash Brothers games, there's an orange little two-piece outfit that's shorts and a tank top she'll wear. You can get that here if you either collect all of the items or collect only 15% of the items. Both of which are stupidly difficult.
Very hard.
I'm not going to do it.
I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me why she's like, I'm gonna celebrate getting all the items by taking off my clothes.
Right?
Here it's a little better because she's still in like a reasonable outfit, and you see her like drinking some lemonade and kicking her feet back.
Yeah, that okay, that's fine.
Right,
But in the original game in particular,
in
like,
the original
what?
and Super Metroid, like there's no reason for her to have the bikini on. She pilots a damn
Right.
spaceship, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
dumb.
like if she was at a beach, then yeah, okay, have
Right.
a bikini.
Right.
I didn't collect all the items last week in AM2R, but they also do like the anime style, like the picture of Samus we just saw. It's that art style in that game. And if you collect all the items in less than 2 hours, what you get is the baby Metroid flying around the spaceship while they're headed to Ceres Station.
Oh, cool. So then that sets up.
Right.
To...
As it is, I think we're just going to cut the stream short tonight because we can't start Super Metroid, I don't think. Has to be next week because that's another 1 week game.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, so we'll just, I think, end it early tonight. Maybe I'll go watch some TV or get another drink. I don't know. We'll see.
All good things.
That's right.
Indeed.
Anyway, we will see everybody next week for Super Metroid, which was one of my favorite games of all time, and I'm really pumped about it.
I'm obviously excited.
Yeah.
I already have the outfit.
Yes. Hear it again next week.
Yeah, I will. Plan
Nice.
on it.
Awesome.
All right, we'll see everybody
All right.
Bye, folks.
Thanks for joining us.
then. Yep. Bye-bye.